Welcome back, Hawks fans, to the Atlanta Hawks Fan Show. It's your boy Bryce Lewis back again, and today we have another special guest. We have Bree, who works for The Athletic. Welcome into the show, Bree. How are you today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you guys for having me. This is really, really awesome opportunity. I'm excited to kick it with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We always love to talk about Hawks talk here on the show, so let's
Sure.
go ahead and get into that. So, obviously, we're hitting the last stretch of the regular season for the Atlanta Hawks. I believe they have about 4 to 5 games left. Then we play the Wizards coming up twice. Then we play Houston or Orlando. And basically, one thing about the Hawks right now is they're getting healthy.
Yes.
DeAndre Hunter is supposed to be back tonight. And outside of that, everybody's pretty much good to go except Cam. We'll see what happens when it gets to the playoffs with Cam.
Right.
So my first question to you is that, the Atlanta fan base has kind of been trying to figure out where this team is, because it looks like if we're at full health, we're very deep. We can shoot, we can defend,
Sure.
you can pick and roll, half court, all of it.
Sure.
And so people wonder, is this a team that maybe could beat one of the top 3 teams, or should we just hope, hey, just making the playoffs is good enough? Obviously, right now, they're slotted to play the Knicks if the playoffs started today.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a team that a lot of people want to play for obvious reasons. So what do you think about this Hawks team right now? Where do you see them at in this whole grand scheme of the Eastern Conference?
I like the stride that we took in the offseason. I think in retrospect, we have to credit the front office for a lot of the moves that they made. I think a lot of those moves didn't necessarily look so good when the season started. But after the coaching change, you got guys like Gallo and Bogey playing to their full potential, which obviously helps the team a ton. So I think for me personally as a fan, this might not reflect the organization's goals, but me personally as a fan, I want a playoff series win. To be honest, I think we've got enough to get a win, and if it's the Knicks that we're going to be matched up with in that round 1, I do expect to beat the Knicks in a 7-game series. So I think making the playoffs is a win this season, but I think we can take it a step further and look to get a first round win, especially if it's against a young team. The Knicks have their veterans, but I feel like the Hawks are much deeper. Our matchups, I think, will play to that matchup much better. So I think a first round win isn't asking too much this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think the way the Eastern Conference is also looked to in terms of all the teams we play potentially, it feels like we should have a chance to be every team, like I said. But, going into the Knicks discussion, obviously another big topic in Atlanta, especially both of us living here.
Sure.
We know how the national media kind of perceives the Hawks.
Sure.
We hear it all the time. They never talk about them.
Sure.
Or they give them very quick, a little go through, and then I go to the next topic. And then, we have the Knicks, who's the media's darling. It's the Knicks. Oh my God, they're good. Everything of that nature. And so I know a lot of Hawks fans have been kind of rubbed the wrong way by that, because they're just like, we went through more adversity to get to this point. We weren't healthy.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the Knicks are having a great year. No disrespect to the Knicks. Glad for them to be good. Julius Randle has been playing great.
Out of his mind.
It just feels like we're not getting that respect. So I do feel like some Hawks fans want the Knicks, so then we can go ahead and say we beat your media darling, and we're that team. So is that potentially a matchup that you want to see for those reasons, or are you just like any team is fine? And
absolutely. I do. No. What was that second question?
And I was gonna also say, and what do you think about the whole perception of the Hawks in the national media, how they're not getting that same credit as other teams?
Sure. All right. Well, I'll start by saying I think I just read this morning that they're going to put our last 2 games, or at least our next 2 games, on ESPN. I think tonight's matchup with the Wizards, and then the next one, I think possibly. And even then, when I read that headline, I was like, okay, is it because they want the Hawks on national television, or do they want Russ to break that record on national television? So even then, when they throw us on national TV, it's like an always ulterior motive behind it. I do feel kind of disrespected by the lack of national games that we get, especially because the Eastern Conference was so mediocre this year. And I felt like a lot of those Boston games that were nationally televised could have definitely been us, and we could have put on better matchups than a lot of those. But I think I'm going to always prefer to be the underdog. I don't think we've earned anybody's respect, so to speak. We haven't made the playoffs since 2016, 17?
Yeah.
So I don't think we've earned anybody's respect or anything like that, or that we're owed some kind of national media coverage, because I don't think we are. But I think we should be on a lot of teams' radar, and I think a series with the Knicks would be a great way to do that. for a lot of reasons. Like I said, there are the media darling, like you said. And then I like our matchups against the Knicks, honestly. I think they're a young team, a young, gritty team, but I think our coaching staff will prepare us better in a 7-game series, and I think we can get 4 wins against them. So I think it would be a great series. I don't know how many games I would give it, but I would love to see the Knicks in the first round.
Yeah, definitely. I think I feel the same way. Like I said, just to, everybody talks about first time, 2 times we played and we had LP, you know what I'm saying? The second time Trae got hurt, we probably would have won that game. So, it feels like we've had opportunities. You just have to have the right stuff going at the right time.
Absolutely.
And just my last question to you about Trae Young. Obviously, Trae he's been a very polarizing player, I think, this year for a lot of just NBA fans in general, trying to say, is he a good point guard? Is he not? People say, he doesn't play defense, but some people don't know he has a better defensive rating than Zion and Brandon Ingram and things of that nature. Right. And I guess my question to you is just, what do you think about Trae? Do you look at now 3 years later after, we basically traded Luka for Trae, do you feel like it was the best decision for the team? Do you think Trae is going to eventually get that respect? Because he's grown a lot this year. He hasn't had the typical Trae Young 30 points. I mean, he has averaged in 25, but the consistency, because he's been up and down all year, but he's still helped the team be better, helped the team win in different ways. So what is your overall thinking and impression of Trae Young at this very moment for this team, as he's looked at as the star of this team?
Sure. And I'll even go back to the draft night switch that we did with Luka. Initially, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but culturally, Trae Young deserves to be in Atlanta, and he has to be in Atlanta. I don't think a Luka Doncic here does the same thing for the city that it does with a Trae Young here. So I'm definitely glad that we made the move. As far as on-court progression, I do think this was a difficult year for him, and I'm glad that we're all hitting our stride kind of at the same time, because I personally, as a basketball player and a fan, I'm going to lean toward more the traditional point guard. So I've never really enjoyed my point guard going out getting 30 a night. You know what I mean? If you can do it, cool. But I'm more of a Chris Paul type girl where, you might get 15 points, 8 or 9 assists, 2 turnovers. And so that's kind of the point guard that I traditionally enjoy. So it's been a joy watching Trae kind of go from that first point guard that I kind of talked about, getting my 30 a night because he had to now distributing the ball first, making sure all the other guys around him are eating, Bogey's eating, Gallo's eating. The guys off the bench are confident, and then he can come in and get his buckets. Then he can come in and get to the free throw line. And so I was really hoping that Rondo was going to be the guy to kind of help him mature in that, but he seems to have done it, with or without him. So I'm confident that he's going to be that player in the next wave of great point guards, because he's going to work himself into that position. He's got the skill set, he's got the talent. The only thing really lacking on his side is size. But I can't even give him that excuse on the defensive end of the ball. He's gotten better this year, but I think defense is about effort. And so once you take some of that emphasis off of the offensive side of the ball, you can lend more energy and effort to the defensive side of the ball. And I think he's going to learn that that's going to be important to this team's success, or he's going to get picked on in the playoffs. And people are going to expose his matchup. So he's going to have to really dig in and figure out who he is on the defensive side of the ball. But I love Trae Young. I'm glad he's in Atlanta. And I do feel like he's going to be one of the next great point guards.
Yeah, definitely same here. He's just, like I say, he's made a great maturation process this year. Got to also credit Nick McMillan with that. He really helped get Trae where he is. And hopefully the success continues going into the playoffs as we're about to wrap up the regular season. So we'll have to see how everything works out. And hopefully the Hawks really do make some noise when the playoffs do come around. But that's all the time we have here for the Atlanta Hawks Fan Show. I'd like to thank Bree for coming on. I'm glad to have you on talking some Hawks. So Hawks fans, we'll see you next time.
To host a fan show or appear as a fan on a fan show, create a profile in Fan Media Network. Then look for the news page in our website and fan show resources page. Help yourself. We give show hosts a show graphic in team colors, a simple short show format, tips on pre- and post-production, ideas to get fans and guests on your show, Apple News distribution and show sponsorship sales and services to help featured show hosts earn money. Show hosts use our iPhone app to publish their shows. Our website supports Android users.